Good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the lounge. Happy Thanksgiving. I know by the time this video comes out, it's not going to be Thanksgiving anymore, but I had to work my job today. So, obviously, with the title, we're gonna get into it in a minute. I just want to say that I'm thankful for the views all over social media, YouTube. I'm thankful for my subscribers, and of course, I want to get this going. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So, obviously, the big talk is Drake's lawsuit for the Not Like Us situation. So, and it's funny how this lawsuit came about because the paperwork that's on the internet, because I'm looking at it right now, hold on, just bear with me. Probably gonna be taking on and off my glasses because, a little bit of age and all that. But the paperwork is talking about that in Brex County, Texas. Now I know he resides there and all of that, but the lawsuit was filed in New York, right? So there's a little discrepancy there, but I don't know because that's on it. That's on the internet. So I'm going to talk about what I got, right? So that's one of the discrepancies that I noticed that, a lot of stuff is saying based off Texas law, but it was filed in New York. So as I was looking, right? Well, let me take it back before we found out about the lawsuit. So I did a review about Kendrick's new album, the GNX, and it was a solid album, good album. But when I was talking to my people, I was saying the numbers don't reflect because it was a good album. So you would think coming off Not Like Us and you release an album that those numbers would reflect just because you're coming off a high. So I was saying that, I mentioned that. And I mean, the numbers could be different now because I haven't looked at it as of today or whatever, because when I looked at it, the numbers didn't even match or come close. So as I was reviewing the paperwork, because I really want to review the paperwork, and so he was talking about iHeartMedia and UMG recordings. Let me silence this so go on silence that so we don't get disturbed. So yeah, because he was talking about iHeartMedia and UMG Recording Inc. and they included Interscope. So, and it's crazy because it's not, because New York is one of the few states that do it, and I don't think Texas does it. So there's not a lawsuit per se. It's a request and deposition. So for people that don't understand what a deposition is, he's pretty much saying that he wants people in these companies to actually meet with his lawyer and go through questions and open up financial records and things like that. That's really what he's requesting for. So what can potentially happen is they could open up the books, find out everything's on an up and up, and guess what? All this gets thrown out. Like he wouldn't even have a leg to have a lawsuit. So, and I think that's what's being misconstrued throughout, people's reviews. And what I first tried to do was I tried to find somebody who would just break down the paperwork to see exactly what it is. But most people had the opinion of, I hate Drake and blah blah blah, or I hate Kendrick, whatever the fuck. And that's not what I was looking for, because I want to have a better understanding. So shout out to, I want to say, the music attorney. She had a decent video, and well, the first part, because the first part was informative. So and that's what I'm trying to talk about, is being more informative. And then she brought somebody else on, and he had his opinion, but he still tried to keep it a little informative. But I just wanted like straight, like what it is, like telling my age a little bit, how the news used to be back in the day. You just get the story and that's it. And you come up with your own, or you do a little more research and you figure it out. So as I was reading it, what stuck out, because let me see, because it is a read, so it's not like, I don't want to have you guys up here for hours upon hours. So I just want to point out something that stuck out with me, why I also want to do this video. Right, I want to say it was I'm sorry guys, I want to say it was number 16 in his petition, because there's a bunch of bullet points that were hold on, I want to set up the phone a little better, because that's how I'm reading it through the phone. Let me redo this. My apologies. I want to say point number 16 was the one that stuck out, right? Because he was talking about payola. I'm going to get into what payola is, and I got right to it. So point number 16 in his petition was, okay, so I'm going to read what 16 is. 16, he said, petitioner, which will be Drake, has received information that UMG, which is Universal Music Group, also paid certain third-party influencers to promote Not Like Us in order to create incentives for highly visible influencers to spread Not Like Us, and what happens to be a radical departure from long-standing internal policy at UMG. UMG removed copyright restrictions on Not Like Us on YouTube and Twitch, thereby whitelisting the song. So I'm going to break that down in a minute, because a few content creators, they talked about this before this whole thing happened. So what does that mean? So, right. So what that means is that, let me put this back up here so I can do what I gotta do if necessary. All right. So pretty much what that means is that now, if you're a content creator and stuff on YouTube and all that stuff, you know certain songs you can't use, or they have what's called the music mafia, as you will. They'll come, strike your video, all that kind of stuff. And what they did with Not Like Us was they lifted that copyright. So you were able to review it, use it, all that kind of stuff. But what ended up happening on the back end of that was UMG turned around and did a copyright on the back end, and took, because there was a lot of money that was made off these reviews and things like that. And if you're a content creator watching this and used it, you could probably comment in the comment section, because you might have been a victim of this, right? So that's why 16 stuck out, because I know content creators will get into it, and maybe they'll break it down, or maybe even do a better video of breaking down what really happened as far as algorithms and things of that nature. So, so that's one of the ones that stuck out with me, because people already talked about it before the lawsuit even happened. They talked about it when the song came out earlier this year, that, it was great for the culture, that they restricted, they didn't restrict the copyright for Universal, because from what I understand with other videos, they're quick to copyright. They're quick to try to get profit from people that use their music. Like, I'll give you an example. I wouldn't say that it's just uh, Universal Music Group. Like a lot of these parent companies, they if you use any music on YouTube, they're gonna get their bread. So there's a gamer content creator that I watch, the professional. Shout out to him. He has a good channel. If you like watching, excuse me, if you like watching plays of video games and things like that, and he even does a little cosplay, which is kind of cool. But he doesn't play music. He breaks that down, like, because he's monetized, so he breaks all of that down. But he is very careful with keeping his monetization, and he's always big with the music mafia. When he did a playthrough with L.A. Noir, and we're talking about music from the 40s, he still had to mute that because they would have came and got their bread. So it's interesting that point number 16 in this lawsuit brought that stuff up. And also, because like I said, there's a lot to unpack, but I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible because it is a lot to unpack with this. Because I have my own theory on it, but I'm going to get to that later because right now, like I said, I just want to focus on breaking down the paperwork. And so he also pointed out, I want to say point 22 on his, let me reference real quick. Yeah, let me see. Is it? Okay. I want to say, is it 22? Okay. I think it is 22. Okay. Hold on one second. See, because a lot of stuff mentions Texas, but he filed a lawsuit in New York, so that's what I'm saying. This paperwork that's online that I tried to get and everything does talk about a lot of Texas. Let me see. This court had personal jurisdiction over UMG, petition arise, continuous extensive business. So he was talking that this paperwork's based off of everything in Texas, because they quoted the Constitution. Because what he also talks about too is, and I think that's what it was. I think, well, it's not that I think. I just need to find it in the paperwork, because what he points out in the paperwork was calling him a PDF file and things like that. Now we understand, like, because I love hip hop. I grew up on hip hop, so I'm about that battle rap. Yeah, you say certain things. You say, when you in a battle, you say whatever it is. So that part I do understand. But, in 2024's rule, you say something like you're a PDF file and all that stuff, that gets a little dicey, and that's 2024 standard. It's not my personal standard, but that's 2024 standard. Because he did say something that I saw that was interesting. I just don't remember the point number. I should have wrote it down. Oh, also 15 too. That was another one. Because he said there was a whistleblower whose identity is unknown revealed publicly that somebody from management paid him thousands of dollars on May 6, 2024 to use bots to achieve 30 million streams on Not Like Us on Spotify in the days immediate after its release to turn Not Like Us into a crazy hit. And he explained what bots are. Bots appear to be real social media accounts, but in fact, software programs designed to mimic behavior. So, that kind of stood out too, because, I was showing a couple of my coworkers how you can buy subs, you can buy, you can buy likes and, well, you can't buy likes, but you could buy your view count, you could buy your subs. And that's where it gets finicky. That's why, like, when people do live streams and things like that, and they're like, get the likes up, because they want the subs and the likes to at least be in the same neighborhood. Because if you have, I'm just going to throw out a number for mathematical purposes. If you got 1,000 subs, but only 4 likes, and let's say you don't have no dislikes, because the way YouTube has you can't see your dislikes, so you could have a bunch of dislikes and not see them. If those ratios don't match, it looks kind of crazy. If that makes sense, if that makes any sense at all. So it looks a little crazy when stuff like that happens. So that's why they tell you get the likes up, get the likes up. That's behind that. Let me see, because I spent time today, because I had a little downtime at work today. So I had an opportunity to sit and actually read this paperwork how I wanted to read it. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. I might just have to take this off the stand so I can. Let me see. No, because he does talk about accusing him of. You know what? I'm just gonna take it off the stand, because it does talk about how accusing him of like essays with young people and things like that. Let me see. Number 11 too. That was another part of the petition. So according to one inside source known to petitioner, let me turn this so I can read it out. UMG, which is Universal Music Group, made covert payments to numbers of platforms, including radio stations, to play and promote Not Like Us without disclosing those payments to listeners. This practice is known as payola, is prohibited by Communications Act of 1934, C 47 USC 317, 508, and has been subject of regulatory scrutiny. In 2006, UMG agreed to pay $12 million in a settlement with the New York Attorney General following an investigation involving accusations that UMG executive have used broad array of pay-for-play tactics to secure radio airplay for music. Separately, in 2005, UMG was sued by 2 radio promotion companies alleging fraudulent pay-to-play practices. So, back in the day, because it's easy to explain like payola, pay-to-play back in the day, because it was more prevalent, especially like in the 90s and all that stuff. So, let's say I have an artist and I want to get them on the radio. I want to get the spins and all that, because like streams wasn't a thing. So you would go to all these DJs and all these different radio stations. Now, I'm not calling out anybody's name because I don't know who did not, but I'm just explaining how it works. That's all I'm doing. So you go to the station and be like, hey, I need you to play my artist song. I'm going to give you, let's just say $40,000, whatever. And I need it on rotation. So whatever radio DJ, whatever, if they take the money, they turn around and get the plays so people can request it and all that stuff, like to really promote it. So the reason why that it's prohibited without because you have to disclose it. So in other words, if order for it to be legal, it has to be said that yes, I received some money and I'm a paid pretty much a paid endorser to say, hey, I like this song or whatever the case may be. Now, a super duper lawyer that might be listening to it, I could be a little off, so they might jump in the comment section and get at me. But I'm just trying to explain it more in layman's terms because disclosure, I'm not a lawyer, so not gonna go there. What I'm trying to find before I come up with my own theory, not really my thoughts, right? Because he did point out what it was that I guess that made him file this paperwork. And let me see, because okay, so he talks about because a lot of when people do petitions, and because this is really just a petition to get information. So when people file this stuff, like there's a lot of fluff in it. So, you just have to bear through the fluff, if you will. Let me see. Just bear with me one moment because I am just... Okay. Maybe it's... where is it? Let me see. I know it's a lot of dead air right now. I'm just trying to... Because he did say something that kind of stuck out. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Here we go. Number 3. See, it was right away. Hold on. So, number 3 also brought my attention. So, point number 3. Earlier this year, one of the artists that UMG had under contract presented UMG with a new song called Not Like Us. Before it approved the release of the song, UMG knew that the song itself, as well as accompanying album art and music video, attacked the character of another one of UMG's most prominent artists, Drake, by falsely accusing him of being an offender. You can insert that. Engaging in PDF file acts, harboring SOs, and committing other criminal essays. Specifically, the song calls Drake a certified PDF file. You can use you know what that means. A predator, and someone whose name shall be registered and placed on a neighborhood watch. So with 3, as far as hip hop fans, as us as being hip hop fans or whatever, we like, it's just talking trash or whatever. But like I was saying a little earlier, 2024, you call somebody a PDF file, that's people get killed over that. I'm sorry, they get deleted. No, sorry, YouTube censor. I was just flowing. They get deleted, and people, if you go to jail, you know what happens when you go to jail under like something like this. So, it's sometimes, even if you didn't do it, if somebody just says you are, it's a forever stain. So I think that's what that is as far as 2024 guidelines and all that. So as I talked about the discrepancies, that this paperwork has Texas all over it, even though it's filed in New York. So it should have New York codes and things of that outside the FCC that I read. So here, at this point, here's my theory. So obviously, especially when I read point number 3, they both belong to Universal Music Group, right? And they probably bring in a lot of money for them between the separate record labels. At the end of the day, the parent company gets paid. And people that have watched my stuff, I'm a wrestling fan, so you might know where I'm going with this if you a wrestling fan and things like that. So my theory is that Drake filed the paperwork to bring more streams, more views on Kendrick Lamar's behalf, because you got to realize, because I know people are going to be like, no. You also got to realize not everybody's into the hip hop genre. And sometimes when they see stuff on the news, that does bring more views, more clicks, more things of that nature. Because it's very convenient that this paperwork was filed right when his new album came out. And now, even though I listened to the album, I probably didn't dissect everything because I didn't hear nothing with Drake on it. It seemed like he moved on and trying to do what he's trying to do, gear up for the Super Bowl. And that's the other part. He's performing at the Super Bowl. You got to remember, not every single American listens to hip-hop like that. So I really think that he filed this paperwork because it's not going to really hurt Drake's reputation as you think, because people are kind of used to hating him. So it doesn't make no difference. But it puts eyes on Kendrick Lamar, which would boost his monies and all that, which in turn boosts Universal Music Group. See, both sides of the fence, the company wins. Just like in wrestling, you got wrestler A, wrestler B. They take a loss. Wrestler B takes a loss to wrestler A. But they're a good, strong, solid character that either is loved or hate. Doesn't hurt their reputation either way. So that is my take on it. I really think that this is all a ploy to bring attention to both artists so money can be made at the end of the day. That's really my thought process. And I could get a little more into it, but I really wanted to just break down the paperwork and those bullet points that stood out to me as I read this, because this is one of my longer videos than I normally do, and that's because it's more of a breakdown educational piece as much as I can. But like I said, I know there's going to be a super duper lawyer, somebody that knows 50 times more than me, and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Like I said, I'm just somebody who's reading the paperwork and found it online and saw a little bit of discrepancies here and there and explaining what payola is and things of that nature. And the one thing I will say is I think pay to play and payola is a little easier on streams, because now you don't really have gatekeepers as you used to back in the day. Because back in the day, if you did a payola or whatever, there was only like maybe, I don't know. I'll use New York for an example. As far as in the hip hop, you had like one real radio station in the 90s. I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to say that they did or didn't. But as far as hip hop, you have one radio station that you would go through. So there was X amount of people that worked on the thing. So the only way you can achieve payola is you would have to deal with those direct people. Now, because of all these streamers and everything else like that, there's so many different ways you could do it. So I think nowadays it makes it more prevalent. Now, even though I talk to some of my people, they disagree that You can't really do it in 2024. I almost think it's easier to do it. That's my opinion, because if I can pay for subscribers or I can pay for views, what doesn't stop me from paying people to listen to my track without you even knowing? Because technically it's a bot. Because I just read the definition of a bot. So, what are your thoughts? Comment, like, subscribe, and have a safe night, safe morning, safe travels. Stay safe. Enjoy your Black Friday to shop, all that, if you want to get them deals. And don't forget about Cyber Monday. Have a good night, and thank you.